In this episode, we set ourselves up at the Marion Bay Caravan Park, and this enables us to drop the van off, and it gives us the freedom to go down into the Inness National Park. There's so many things to see down in the national park down there, and of course you've got this iconic drive as you go down into the park. We spend most of the day in the national park, and we have a look at the Cape Spencer Lighthouse and Pondalowie Bay, plus many of the other attractions that are down there in the park. I'm Mick, and this is Sally. Together we've been caravanning Australia since the 1980s, and more recently we started to put the videos together just to show you some of what we see out there. There's a lot to see in Australia, and we hope you enjoy what we have here to show you. You can follow us on our trips via the following social media platforms. If you like the following video, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. In episode 4 of Camping on the Yorke Peninsula, we spend 2 nights at Gleeson's Landing, and we experience this beautiful sunset on one of those nights. From the Gleeson's Landing campground, we make our way over to Daly Head, and we spend 1 night there in this campground. As well as that, we take a walk along the beach. So much to see in the next episode, so let's get started. With only 33 kilometres to travel for the day, we couldn't leave too early because of the midday book-in that was at the Marion Bay Caravan Park. But when we came up to this intersection here where we left the dirt road and we did a right-hand turn onto the bitumen road that ran between Corny Point and Marion Bay, we had to be very careful as we entered the bitumen road here because it was such a blind intersection or blind entry onto the road. And once we got onto that road, we had to be very careful that no one was coming down that was going to clean us up before we picked up any road speed. Marion Bay is right on the edge of the Inness National Park, and we were quite surprised that how big the caravan park was once we got into there, and for a small town, it's got a very good caravan park. G'day everyone, and welcome to another video. And this one has us down at the Marion Bay Caravan Park. We've just arrived this early afternoon, and we're booked in here for 2 nights, and we'll look at the caravan park today and Marion Bay itself, and then tomorrow we plan on going down to Inness National Park, so we'll do a good coverage of what the national park's got to offer. Hope you enjoy it. Once we had the caravan set up in the caravan park, we thought we'd take a quick look out and have a gander at the jetty, and like most other places at this time of the year, certainly a lot of seaweed about. As we're having a bit of a look around Marion Bay, the weather was a bit inclement, and every now and again we had a few skiffs of showers go through, which was expected. They had forecast that, but the weather was on the improve, and we were certainly hoping for a much nicer day tomorrow when we go into Inness National Park.
Slow down, mama, why you talk so mean? Good Lord, man, shit.
It's a different caravan park, this one, the way that it's set up. It's almost as though it's got 3 sections, and it's got a fully lawned area, and no one was on that one at that time that we were there. And then it's got where we are here now, which is all basically gravel sites with green matting, but certainly a lot of lawns scattered throughout the park. The park has got these undercover barbecue areas, and as well as that, in between all the lawn sections, it has got a good fish cleaning area, and that was quite popular. So obviously there's fish down there to be caught if you know where to go and get them. And of course you need a boat. I would imagine during the summer period this would be a very popular caravan park with its location down near the national park, and all these areas that we're looking at now where there's no one on those caravan sites, I'm sure they would be fully booked out. There are more than one amenity blocks which is set up throughout the park for patrons to use. As I walked around the caravan park and just having a look to see what they did have, this camp kitchen here was the only one that I did come across, and I'm pretty sure it's the only one that was in the park, but it's certainly got everything there that you want. And with the big shark on the back wall there, just making sure that everyone's doing what they should be doing, the whole place was spotless to look at. This camp kitchen was located on what I'd call the third part of the park, and that's around the beach side of the caravan park, and as well as that it's got these cabins. The sun was coming up, so it was time to get ourselves organised for our day's outing. Good morning everyone, we've got ourselves all organised this morning, and today's the day we're going to go down to Inness National Park, so we're not sure how long we'll be down there, but we've allocated the whole day if we need it, so quite looking forward to that. And hopefully the weather's going to be kind to us. The weather's on the improve now. Tomorrow's going to be the day, but unfortunately we'll be leaving here tomorrow, so we can't go tomorrow. It's got to be today, so we'll wait and see what we get when we get down there. Hope you enjoy it. An entry permit is required to enter the Inness National Park, and that is per vehicle, and that is $13, and we purchased ours online. They can, however, be purchased here at the Information Centre, which is at the entry to the Inness National Park, but at the hour of the morning that we arrived, and it wasn't peak period, the Information Centre wasn't open. No sooner we entered the Inness National Park, and our first port of call after the Information Centre was Stenhouse Bay Jetty. The Stenhouse Bay Jetty is a bit of an iconic photo stop for anyone that's entering into the Inness National Park. The jetty, as seen here, has certainly been featured in many photo shoots to advertise the national park. From the viewing area up the top, there's certainly an easy walk down to the jetty, and there's no reason why anyone, even someone in a wheelchair, couldn't access the jetty if they wished to do so. It's a very pretty location, this one, and it wasn't too bad for the day that we were there, and we had a little bit of sunshine come through every now and again, not very much though, but you could just imagine what this would be like on a full sunlit day. Blue water and the green on the hill there, it's be so beautiful to look at. With the sun trying to shine at the moment, we thought that on our return, being as we'd have to go past here on our way back to the Maran Bay Caravan Park, if it was going to be sunny, we would call in and perhaps do another photo shoot and get a bit more footage, but the sun wasn't shining when we come back through, so we didn't worry, but certainly a beautiful spot. Our day was only just beginning within the Inness National Park, but it was so easy to see how you could lose time, and suddenly you'd think, oh well, I could spend 2 days here if we had to. From the Stenhouse Bay Jetty, it was onto the Cape Spencer lookout, and it was here that you look out across the ocean. You had spectacular water views. As we were driving around the Inness National Park, we were trying to find the area that many years ago when we were last down here, that we saw a section of the road, and we're pretty sure this is where we are now, and it's a section of the road that always appeared in most tourist information pamphlets regarding the national park and what it had to offer. Any tourist stop or whatever was along the way that was worth looking at, we pulled in and had a look, and here we go out to the Chinaman's Hat lookout. And that stone structure that's just come into view there, that's the Chinaman's Hat. The next lookout that we went into after the Chinaman's Hat lookout was actually called the Chinaman's Lookout, and here it was a rugged part of the coastline, and they had all these steps and stairs that allowed you to gain access down to the beach. and you can just see there on the bottom of the screen there now, you're going into the middle of the screen was the couple of fellas standing there, and they were ready to go out and paddle out and try and see if they could surf. Certainly a different sort of beach and coastline that we're used to looking at, and you could just stand here in awe and watch those waves roll in all day if you had the time to do so. Each of these locations that you go in to have a look at are not very far apart. You don't travel very far and you're turning off to go into the next one. And for us, the next one was the Cape Spencer Lighthouse. There'd be a short 1 to 2 kilometre drive once you leave the bitumen before you get to Cape Spencer Lighthouse, but it's a good road, and with a bit of care there's no reason why anyone can't safely travel on that road. Once you've got your vehicle parked in the car park, it's only a short walk then until you're out at the Cape Spencer Lighthouse. Once you've spent a bit of time in the Inness National Park along the coastline, you can understand why there's so many lighthouses within the area. The coastline certainly got a mix of great little beaches. You can see one there down at the base of that, and then as we go over to the other side of the path as we're going down to the lighthouse, you've got all these cliffs here, and it's just astounding the height of them. The height from sea level up to the base of the lighthouse is quite high. I've got no idea how high it is, but it is certainly a long way up there, so I'm sure that these lighthouses are certainly visible from the lighthouse light itself to a long way out to sea. The Althorpe Islands are a group of islands that are actually south from the Cape Spencer Lighthouse, and they're 7.7 kilometres south, and they're in view there now as the camera pans around. From the Cape Spencer Lighthouse, it's only another short drive and we're turning off the bitumen road, and we make our way into the Inness Historical Township. The Inness Township was established as a thriving gypsum town back in the early days. We took a circuit walk around the old town, and that took us past the Inness lake here, and it was certainly a picture to look at with the water reflections that were currently showing up on the very calm lake. From the lake, the circuit walk took us back up to the old township. No doubt it's through the time of many volunteers that preserve these sort of locations for us to go and visit, and that's depicted here by this plaque. Some of the old buildings within the township were a little bit past being preserved, and some of them, yeah, quite obvious that people were preserving them and spending a lot of time doing that. The Gatehouse Lodge building does offer accommodation for those that wish to stay inside the Inness Township. As a kid, I can always remember with old buildings, the last thing standing was always the fireplace. From the Inness Township, it was on to Ethel Beach, and it's at Ethel Beach where you'll find the shipwreck of the Ethel. Even though the car parks at these areas are high up from the water's edge, it does offer the tourists the opportunity to view what is there to be seen, and this one in particular does allow the tourists to view the wreck of the Ethel as it lays there on the sand. It was during 1904 that the Ethel ran aground during a storm, and luckily it only cost the life of one person. Yorke Peninsula is very good for having these stairs built, and that allows the tourists to go from car parks to go down to the beach height, even though there's many stairs here, and it is a national park, so no doubt it's under the control of the national park and not of the local councils within the area. But once again, there's all these stairs that makes it much easier for people such as myself to go down and have a look at what you want to view. As we stand on the sand here and look out towards the ocean and watch those waves roll in, you can understand how lucky the Ethel was to only lose one life during its disaster. The power of the ocean is unforgiving, and it's just relentless with its strength as it pushes those waves in towards the beach. I could sit here all day and watch and listen to these waves roll in, but we had places to go and things to see. One thing about all these stairs that allow you to come down to the beach level from the car park, it's a long way down, but when you look back up, it's also a long way to go back up to the top. From Ethel Beach, it was on to the West Cape area and the West Cape Lighthouse. Once again, like so many other of the car parks, there was a set of stairs that took you down to the beach, but we didn't go down there on this occasion. It had no reason for us to go down to the beach. We were here to have a look at the lighthouse, so we gave this one a miss. A lot of the car parks within the Inness National Park do have toilets, and this is one of those car parks that has got a toilet. From the car park we start to make our way towards the West Cape Lighthouse, and along that walk you come across this viewing area, and it offers a very good 360 degree view. The surface area of the walking path down to the lighthouse from the car park does change quite often, and it goes from sandy to this stony sort of path that we're looking at now, but it also goes very close to the cliff edge, so for anyone that's walking along and got children with them, they need to be very mindful and keep an eye on where the children are walking. As we got closer to the West Cape Lighthouse, it started to make me wonder what it was actually constructed of, and I reckon it'd be stainless steel. Looking at it, it's sort of discoloured, but I'd expect that from stainless steel. But if I'm wrong, just leave a comment down below and let me know what the lighthouse is actually constructed from. As we're standing by the lighthouse, the ocean views were absolutely spectacular. It's just a pity that it was the time of day that we were there that we were looking out into the sun as it shone back on the water, but very pretty to look at. By the time we got back to the car park, it was lunchtime, and they had this sheltered area here with table and seats, so we sat down and had our lunch here and just admired that pretty ocean view. From West Cape, after we'd eaten our lunch, it was on to Pondalowie Bay, and this was an area that offered many different sorts of views and locations to look from. After driving into the car park here at Pondalowie Bay, we walked to our left, and that brought us into this area here where it's a little bit like a sheltered bay type thing, and certainly different from the other side that you'll see in a moment. And it's got the waves pushing in here as we're looking now. As we walk from the left hand side of the car park to the right hand side of the car park heading to the water, you'll see the two kangaroos lazing here in the bush, and they just were not worried about us at all. The waves on this side of the car park seem to be much bigger and much stronger, and they just kept punching in all the time that we were there. They were just not going to let up at all. For our day while we were in the national park, the weather was on the tail end of a change, so it just made me wonder, had we waited and came down the following day when the weather was supposedly going to be much nicer, more sunshine, no rain, whether these waves would be as big and as strong on that second day versus what they were like today, but it was certainly something that was worth having a look at today to see the waves like they were. From Pondalowie Bay it was on to Pondalowie Surf Beach, and this one here was quite surprising with the amount of flowers and fauna that was on display or that we were able to see. And coming up now is just 4 single photo shots of some of the different varieties of flowers that we saw while we were walking along the path as we were going out to the beach. The path out to the beach starts off as being a sandy one, and then it turns to this boardwalk, and the boardwalk was very nice, and then of course it comes out to this platform here, and once again a small set of stairs to take you down to the beach. The beach area here was certainly clean. It was only a short distance from the water's edge to the platform that we were standing on as we watched these waves roll in, and it may have been that reason that the sand was so clean, because the water was pushing over them all the time and dragging all the rubbish out to the ocean, but no, it was certainly clean and very pretty to look at. I took a short walk along the beach here, but with the sand being very soft, it made it very difficult to walk. From the Pondalowie Bay Surf Beach, it was on to Dolphin Bay, and it's quite an easy walk into the shacks and to the beach area. As we were walking along the path, these 2 emus spotted us, and like emus do, they just didn't know which way to go. It was a very short walk from the parking area where we left our vehicle to when we were down at the water's edge here, and it was very pretty with these stones with the red-orange marking on the top of them and the blue water in the background. From Dolphin Bay it was then on to Shell Beach, and this one was another walk out from the parking area and over a few sand dunes, and it was all hard ground, so there was nothing hard about walking, but only a short walk, and once again there was more steps to take us down onto the beach. I don't know, but perhaps these steps serve 2 purposes. One to help us to get down to the beach, and the other one is to preserve the dunes so the foot traffic doesn't erode the dunes. There's so much to look at within the Inness National Park, so many little beaches like this one. It would be quite easy to cover the first half of it on one day and go back to wherever you were sleeping, and then come back on the second day and complete the circuit, because as mentioned before, all these locations are very close proximity from one to the other, so it's not like you're travelling from ours if you happen to do it over a 2-day period. I should also mention too that there are campgrounds within the Inness National Park that you can camp inside the national park without going out of the park if you're here for more than one day.
No, I don't.
We're now at Browns Beach, and this is the end of the drive that you do when you come into the Inness National Park, and Browns Beach is renowned for its salmon fishing for the right time of the year. Nothing needs to be said here. I think the sign says it all. As we were making our way back out of Inness National Park, when we came into Pondalowie Bay, we didn't go down this road here, which takes us to a fishing village. But I can remember a long time ago when we were here, and I think it was Pondalowie Bay, you went out onto the beach and there were fishing boats everywhere. It was a nice, calm, sheltered beach. And of course that was summertime, so different season, so the weather was probably a little bit different, and we drove through here just to check whether that beach was still in this area or whether we were actually in the right area, I guess. Once we'd crested the rise in front of us and got greeted by this big heap of water, we thought, well, we weren't sure whether this is where we seen that protected bay or not, so on that note we just chucked a Yui and headed back towards Maran Bay. As we're leaving the caravan park the following morning, we come across this kangaroo making his way into the caravan park. With the start of a new day and the sun shining and very little wind, we thought before we left we'd put the drone up and just have a quick look at some of the coastline along Marion Bay Township. We certainly enjoyed our time down here at Marion Bay and the Inness National Park, and next time we'll come back in the summer period just to see it on a different season. Well, that brings us to the end of this video, and hope you enjoyed what we gathered on the video out there at Inness National Park. That was absolutely beautiful out there. Those waves certainly got a power behind them, but yes, the end of this video, and we move on from here, leaving Marion Bay now. So until that next video goes up, you take care and look after yourself. If you like the video that you just watched, give us a thumbs up, and if you want to see more of our videos, click on the subscribe button, and once you've done that, change the bell notification to all. That way every time that we do uploads to our YouTube channel, you'll be notified.